Welcome back to the next episode of Toole Box. My name is Joe Toole. So first of all, I wanted to say a really quick thank you to everyone who's watched and subscribed and thumbs up the previous video. I know it's only a few people, but I'm really excited that it's gotten the attention that it's got already. Normally these things like they tend to happen in a vacuum sometimes, despite people tagging and doing trendy things like Sekiro. It still happens in a vacuum. So I'm really impressed and proud that the people that have seen it so far. So yeah, the next thing I wanted to tackle was, I know in the first clip I said that I would be doing this every day of the week, but I'm actually going to be doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Just a little bit more realistically. I don't think I would have enough time, and I would run out of clips that excite me pretty quickly. So yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to try and do was keep these videos under 10 minutes or 10 minutes long, just because the last one was 17 minutes long and I kind of went off on too many tangents a little bit, so I wanted to keep them super short and sweet, focus on a couple of key things, and then end it. So yeah, here we go. This next video is about God of War, the most recent one. I was a huge fan of this game. I really loved everything this game did. And it's been a full year since it came out. It was its anniversary, I think, a couple of weeks ago or last week. And what else can I say about God of War? The animations were spectacular. Hats off to the entire animation team, as usual. I mean, most God of War games are renowned for their animation. Okay, oh yeah, so this clip isn't actually the most exciting, crazy, big-scale, gory kill in the entire game, but I really love this one for two specific reasons. It really shows off anticipation and arcs. I really want to start folding in the animation principles into these videos, just for people are learning. They might want to have, some more educational value in this, not just me ranting about things that I love. So yeah, here we go. Let's watch the clip. Okay, that's it. Nice and short and sweet this day, this Wednesday. So, first of all, what do we notice when we see this clip? Well, it's pretty, even though I said it wasn't that gory, it's pretty gory. Like, the guy gets cleft in twain. What else immediately jumps out at us? The VFX are really cool. We won't be looking too closely at the VFX, but I do want to just take note that they are awesome, and they are awesome throughout this game. They're like, a whole part of the combat is based around VFX, and that's a really interesting approach. Alright, let's get stuck into some of the animation stuff. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was anticipation. This game, and especially this clip, does a really good job of telegraphing what Kratos is going to be doing next, and also what the enemies are going to be doing next, but especially Kratos in this clip. So this whole first several frames is dedicated to the wind-up, where we have the axe. It goes from being on one side of the screen, which is typically the right-hand side of the screen, when it's like in resting neutral position. This is like standard battle pose. Just quickly blocking the hand. And as he goes to get ready for attack, the axe leaves the right-hand side of the screen and travels over to the left. And this is used repeatedly. This is basically how they tell the player that they're doing an attack. It's like, the visual language is the axe in the left-hand side of the screen, the lower left-hand screen? If yes, then Kratos is going to be swinging it. The next thing that they do, which pushes the anticipation even further, is they added a whole bunch of noise through this section. So we'll try and watch it back and just watch for the shaking of the axe. See that right there? It's just a really quick tremble. And we'll frame by frame it. And you can see it's not perfectly even noise as well. So right here the noise is starting on the head of the axe. We're watching right here. sort of goes down for 3 frames and then up for 2 and down for 3 and then up for 3. Like it kind of jumps around a little bit, which I guess makes sense. You know, like if someone's tensing their muscles here, it wouldn't be a totally even shake. It's not like they're doing a cocktail shake. It's like they're building up power, getting ready to do the attack. So now we have the actual swing itself. And he does some really interesting posing stuff, which we're going to swing back around and get. The axe is now completely upside down. So this, I think, would be another way of telegraphing the level of the power of the attack. Like if it's just going to be a regular swing, then it might end up over here and then would swing around this way. But if it's going to be like an overhead swing, then it would come down here and then swing over this way. So you can kind of gauge the level or the impact of what the attack's going to do just by the positioning of this shape. And so animation's all about shapes. It's all about moving shapes through space at different speeds and spacings. We'll tackle spacing and timing in another video, but I just wanted to touch quickly on shapes, because shapes is kind of how you communicate what you're doing in animation. There's a nice swish frame here, where we have like a visual effect play off the tip of the axe. And so let's count how many frames the axe comes down through. So for the swing, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 frames. That's really, really quick. If the game is playing at 30 frames a second, or like most of these animations would be built at 30 FPS, the 5 frame tick is very, very fast. And the only reason I think they can do it that quickly, or one of the only reasons they can do it that quickly, is one, the posing, which we've gone over. The axe goes to one side of the screen, the player is prepared to see Kratos swing the axe. And the second thing is this build-up right here, where we see him shake the axe. It's almost like the animator saying, watch this thing right here, because this thing is about to go really, really, really fast. We're going to look at the arc of this axe right before we get into this next section. So I'm just going to change colors. I'm going to do blue. Actually, no, the whole scene is blue. Let's do yellow. I'm going to make this size 3. Okay. So we're going to track from right here in the start of the shaking, or the end of the shaking rather. I'm just going to track the tip of the axe. Not the pointy part, but the end of the stick, I guess. Goes out of frame for a few, which is fine. I'm also cropping the video a little bit, so this animation probably could be seen from a couple of different angles. Keeping that in mind while I track these arcs, they may not be 100% like on the money perfect. Okay. Go there as well. Put some ghosting on. And from here we'll be able to sort of draw over the path. Sorry, my Wacom hand is a little bit not so good this morning. Up through here. Does a tight loop right here. Then it disappears out of frame. Comes back around. It does a bit of a hit right here, which, as I said, it's probably just the angle of the camera. But you like it, and this is probably like, this is not the point of the channel is to admire things that I really love. It's not to critique things. So I'm sort of just going to pass over that. And this is when the arc gets real crazy. Straight down. So yeah, that's the path of the arc. And what can we see with this arc? We know that the majority of the frames for the swing of the arc is spent down here, right? This is where we see the axe right before it's swung over the head, so we need to be able to tell sort of the direction that it's going, usually denoted by the pointy end. The other thing that we notice is it only spends 1, 2, 3, 4 frames, or 5 frames, I guess, doing the actual swing itself. And 3 of those frames are behind Kratos. They're not even in front of him. The top of the swing is right above him, and then the very next one is in the actual creature that he's attacking. So that's... A lot of people get this wrong. A lot of people think they need more cushioning frames right before the axe hits the thing, or they'll spend too much time right at the top of the arc, which is okay too. But I think for the purposes of the game, you really want to be telling what this attack is going to be doing right before it does it. So that's why they built all of these frames over here on this side of the screen. And then the axe comes down and we have this really great like collapsing of the guy receiving the axe, where his legs just completely buckle out from under him. If you can hear that in the background, just ignore my cat scratching up my carpet. And then it does this really great thing where as he lifts up the axe, like right here, it sort of lifts the enemy back onto its feet just a little bit. And it's almost as if it's like going for one final attack right here. You can see he's like on this foot, and this is kind of leaning forwards now, like his torso's kind of traveled forwards just a little bit. I'm gonna change back to red, forwards just a little bit. And it's hard to tell whether or not that's as a result of him pulling the axe out, because it does come out this way. Like it comes out through this path right here. Or whether it's actually the guy standing up of his own intent. And then watch again. So we go from the axe being on the right hand side of the screen, so after the attack has taken place, and then it swings back around to the left. And this like couldn't be more clear, right? Like this axe is taking up like almost a quarter of this whole part of the screen right here. This is how you know that Kratos is going to do another attack. And then it comes up here to this quarter of the screen. Like this, the axe is like filling up the entire screen, or this entire quadrant. We have this great face right here. This is like the effort face. Like getting ready to really kill a dude. And we also, like, it's a great moment because we get to read both of them. You know, it's like staging the characters' faces to face the right direction. And I'm realizing that I'm going over 10 minutes right now, but I promise I'll finish it up real soon. So we see both of their faces in that moment right before the killing blow, and then he cuts the enemy in half. And this is like my favorite part of it, right? The momentum of the axe coming through twists the guy's torso around. His hand does this beautiful overlapping action right here. Both of his arms are like spinning, sort of like a pinwheel, I guess. Yep. His arm's basically broken at this point. It's falling over backwards. And we get this great hand pose. And then crashes into the ground down there. Yeah, so that's my favorite part, and this is probably one of my favorite animations of the entire game as well. Just this whole section through here, like if we just track the arc of the tip of the hand after he gets taken out. It's hard to see because of all the visual effects. I probably should have used a different color as well. I'll color the arc in a different color. His hand disappears out the top of the screen, but comes back. Alright, let's do this arc in white. And it's almost like the VFX is almost tracing that arc as well, but it's I'm pretty sure it's actually just an emitter that's sticking out the bottom of this guy's torso. That's just like spewing this like lava blood. Okay, yeah, so the arc of that hand sort of like like that. And it's really great because it echoes what the axe just did. That's one of the really cool things about it. So if we watch it now at speed, it's a really quick animation. Like, you hardly get a chance to see exactly what happened, but it's so impactful. And I think it reads so well because of all the stuff that we talked about. We talked about the key posing, the anticipation, right there at the beginning of the axe swing, and then the arcs of the axe itself, which helps make it like greater sell the appeal and the impact of the blows that Kratos is doing through this clip. Yeah, I love it. I've got a whole thing right here of all God of War finishing moves, and I can't wait to like dig into more of them. There's a whole bunch here, so that's gonna do it for today. I managed to clock in at 15 minutes this time, a whole 2 minutes less. I gotta figure out a way to do these faster. I don't know whether or not I should just make them 15 minutes. The goal was 10. All right, let's see how we go next week. In any case, thank you very much for watching, and I'll have another video for you on Friday. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.